Hi, I'm Fred Joyner. I live in Carrboro, North Carolina. I'm honored to be a part of this project to raise awareness and try to raise funds for those affected by the hurricane and art creative people that are trying to make a living. Um, as a person who's been gifted with with poetry, the only way I see fit is to share that gift in that effort. And so, in that regard, I'm going to read a few poems. I'm going to talk a little bit, but I like to always open with a poem by somebody else. Poetry for me is about generosity. One of the things it's about generosity and sharing. And so, I'm going to open with a poem by Dion Brand. This is her collection, Nomenclature. Just go get this book, amazing book. Um, what if I told you? What if I told you our lives amazed us so, till we hated the beauty we made? We could not bear the thought of ourselves. We kept feeding paper to the apparatuses, the technologies of which wore us down. We were used to the way of the world. And if I were ever recalled, what might we have been? We wept for days on end. The ledgers we kept of the chest carved mornings and our burnt out fingertips with the electric headache, all this. That's Dion Brand. So I'm going to share two poems really quickly here. One, one of the beauties of poetry is that sometimes um, when you, even with my own poems, I revisit them at a different time, and they speak to me in a different way, depending on where my life is and what's going on around me. This poem I'm going to share with you is called Half Note, and it was at a dark time in my life. Um, and it, I wrote it after looking at a picture of myself. Somebody took a picture of me while I was reading during this dark time in my life, and the aura around me didn't look anything like what I was going through at the time. And so I think about right now, when when we're looking at what people are going through, we look at the images and the video of what people are going through. Um, I guess I'm saying like maybe we can reimagine ourselves, look at ourselves and look at what we're doing for one another in the spirit of those things and reimagine ourselves differently in in the images that we see. So this is called Half Note. Today's gray scale sky cuts against the color framed by the photo in my hands. A portrait of someone I don't always get to see. This is about more than the psychic weight of a string of rainy achromatic days. This is about learning to see myself as more than a fraction, more than a half note hanging in black on those same days. This is about a camera whose cool shutter captured me in a moment, a simple flame, flicker, a certainty standing in my own skin. And the last poem I'm going to read for you is a poem that I often close my readings with. It's something that I think about a lot because I think a lot about what we need, not just in this in any particular moment, but in all the moments of our lives. Like what does an artist need? What do humans need as we think about how we live together as human beings? And so this is a poem that came out of an experience of working in a building. Um, been working in this building for a few years, and and because I worked at late hours, I was there when the people who uh, took care of the building and took care of our offices. And this is a poem dedicated to a woman named Rosa. Well, it's in the poem, but she's a woman who cleaned the building, who cleaned our office suite in particular. And I got a chance to know her. And this is comes out of an experience we had. Solidarity. Every night, a woman at least as old as my mother, with a walk labored like my grandmother's last steps, enters my office to clean. Tonight is our last night in the building. She and I talk like old friends, parting ways for the first time, or new friends leaving each other for the first. She utters a few words to me in her smiling Spanish and English. My tongue searches for the right response in my troubled Spanish. We laugh, sifting through the things our employer has instructed us to discard. We both laugh, knowing. She finds a small black pouch, big enough to hold a month's pay in her bosom. She shows me the pouch, mimes to me how she will hide it from the night's hungry hands. She puts her hand on her chest, says, El Salvador. I tell her I am from DC. Anacostia, I say. She nods. She knows. We have both learned to live well off what others abandon. Thank you very much. I'm honored to be a part of this, um, and go out and read some poetry.